Hey, it's your God of light helping you through the night. And I just have a question. Like, does anybody else feel super empowered when they're angry? You just like, I'm angry at the world. I'm angry at the situations going on. I'm angry. Just, everything is just bleh. Because for some reason, we have been taught to swallow down our anger and I even say this, breathe through it. But sometimes, as long as you're not hurting someone else with it, you know, like I had to turn on some Limp Bizkit, I'm not gonna lie. And I'm out there just give me something to break. And I really don't know the feeling that's come over me. It's almost like a light has come back on, and I've been so, oh, namaste, peace, love, and light, that I have blocked out that side of me that can really just like get out of my fucking face. The part of me that can allow me to stand up for myself. And I think we all put that to rest. We all say, oh no, I'm a bad person if I get mad. It's okay if I get hurt, but I can't get mad about it. Fuck that shit. Get mad. It is time we all start getting mad. How we're being shorted by, like I've said in several videos, jobs, the way that we get paid, how much our house costs, how much food costs, how much gas costs, how corrupt our government is, how everything is just like in our face. And we're supposed to just be like, namaste. and I've even made a video about the misconception about spirituality, how we're not always like, I love you, Some days we're like, fuck you, I'll still love you, but I can still be mad at you. But this brings me back to letting that anger flow through you and using it constructively. Like I said, you're not going around killing people, beating up people, stuff like that. But you have a right to direct that energy because anger is a very potent energy. It heats your body up. You can feel the chemistry changing in you. It is something to use that can create something instantaneously because there's such a strong, like I said, a potent feeling behind it. And that's that one thing that it's almost like the best fuel you can get. And I'm not saying go around and stay angry. I'm just saying when you feel it, don't feel guilty about it. Don't let anyone make you think there's something wrong with you because you're pissed off. Because people can make you angry and then blame you because they made you mad. When you stand up for yourself, when you say, I don't really even want to deal with you anymore. You're getting on my nerves. When someone's irritated you so much that you just kind of just like, you better get away from me. And then they keep coming back and telling you excuses as to why they made you angry. And they don't feel they did anything. And I'm talking, this is all kinds of people. I mean, I watched somebody the other day. It was like backwards road rage. and I'm sitting there like, what the hell is wrong with people? But somebody pulled out at a stop sign and another person was already going and they were flying, but not too fast. The car had time to pull out. The truck has brakes, but it was the mentality of, oh, fuck you. You ain't getting in front of me. And he seriously drove around this other truck and slowed down real slow. And I was like, oh my God, at least I have time today. Because like I said, it's backwards road rage. And the guy did it for a few minutes and then he just took off. And I thought, he's so stupid that is his gratification for somebody going before him. I don't know if anybody realizes sometimes it's better for people to go before you. Because would you be the first one to go into a cave? No. There could be a bear, there could be coyotes, there could be wolves, snakes. I mean, all kinds of stuff can be sitting in that cage waiting, or that cave waiting for something to walk in. So yeah, that's when people start going, no, after you. No, after you, seriously, after you. I'm good. I'm just going to go over here. I'm not really interested in getting out of the rain. I'll just go not stand under a tree, whatever it is. But it's just funny how most people demand to be first. But then when it comes down to it and you just say, okay, after you, they're like, no, that could be dangerous. They value themselves so much. They're so arrogant. And this is where that anger starts coming up for me. That people believe they have problems and they're the only people that have problems. And then they sit there and they bitch and moan about them. And I go through my phases where I sit there and I complain about it. And normally what I try to do is journal it out. I mean, I have come to realize that me sitting there just, just focusing on the negative is going to bring negativity into someone else's life. Sure, I do vent. It's the same thing as complaining, but I try to keep it to a minimum. And I'm sorry my poor mom has to deal with me venting to her. But she also helps turn it around, creates a different perspective that allows me to go, okay, get back to that not so upset, and laugh and feel better by the time we get off the phone. And it's hard sometimes because that anger that does boil up inside of us, like I said, most of us have been taught to just don't let that flow. Just let it go. But sometimes you need to have that fire, be that dragon, be that one that just says, you know what? I'm sick and tired of you thinking because I'm kind, I'm weak. Because that seems to be the thing with people that are kind. Other people tend to think that it's our weakness instead of realizing it's our fucking strength. Like, my kindness is the thing that's giving you grace in your life, because my words I've heard are worse than a whip, that I can sit there and tear people down. And I choose not to, because I know what I'm capable of. And instead of cussing people out, a lot of times I turn on songs that make me just like, yeah, because it's better to get the energy out in that form and fashion instead of allowing it to clog and block your chakras. So I'm encouraging you, if you're angry, be fucking angry. Don't let anybody tell you that, oh, you're just being dramatic, or, oh, you're just over exaggerating. Don't let anyone belittle your feelings. Do not let them berate you in any way because the feeling doesn't make them feel good. Because for whatever reason, people only want to feel good. And we don't always grow because we feel good. Actually, it's the opposite. You stay stagnant and stuck. You start having blockages. You start having these things within you that now you start sitting there like, I'm feeling a little insecure and I don't know if I should feel this way. And I just thoughts start going in circles in your head like a washing machine, and then you can't focus, and then you're focusing too much on something you don't need to focus on, rather than just letting it out, letting it go. Because I've been sitting in a position, it's almost like limbo or sitting on hold. It's like when I have to call the Health and Human Services. Being on hold with a government agency or a state agency, it is amazing that they can leave you there for an hour or two and say, oh, we're a lot busier than we normally are. Knowing good and well they're just sitting there talking to each other because not everybody is blowing up the phone line that day. So it's almost like waiting you out. Will you hang up? Will you give up? Will you run out of time? And it's those things that tend to provoke that irritation. And then something else happens throughout the day that can irritate you a little more. And then next thing you know, something's tapping on your nerves. And the next thing you know, you want to explode, but you can't. But I'm letting you know you can. It is okay. If you want to go off on your coworkers, you can always go get another job. And I know we all need the money from our positions that we're in, or we wouldn't be working. I'm not an idiot. But it comes down to it at some point. When you're accepting certain behaviors, you're keeping yourself stuck in something that is going to continue to poke at you. And the more it pokes at you, that's almost like the divine telling you, hey, you're not in the right spot. Hey, you need to move. Hey, you've got to make a different choice. And you'll find that something that used to be okay is no longer okay. And that is simply because you're trying to be picked up and moved. You are being told, okay, this show is over. It's time to start the new phase. And that's the hard part, because a lot of times we want to be like, I'm not comfortable with that. I don't know how it's going to affect my life. And believe me, I'm in this position in my life more than anything at this point. And I sit here and I try not to have regrets, of like, okay, I left a toxic relationship that was hurting me. And I walked out of that. And now I've been like beaten down as much as I can. And I felt for the longest time I'm being punished for walking away from something that karmically I felt like I deserved. And then I had to come to the conclusion I didn't deserve that. Nobody deserves to be treated like shit and beat up. Nobody deserves to be torn down on a regular basis. That was me thinking crazy in a way. But at the same time, it's like, why was I okay in the fire? And now that I'm walking through the ashes and the smoke, life got really fucking hard. I honestly thought, and maybe this is me thinking wishfully, that life would get a little bit easier. And it's slowly, things are changing. I do see the blessings and the rewards, but there's still this constraint. And for whatever reason today, that anger is fueling. And I want to say because it's my kid's dad's birthday today, I don't know. There's something. There's maybe a full moon somewhere. I don't know. I just woke up no longer feeling like depressed, but more so now it's the next phase. And this is also a part of the grieving process where you go from denial, you start accepting it at some point, you get angry. I mean, it just, these steps that occur, and it seriously feels like going through the grieving process. And when you're dealing with people that need to not be in your life, the more that you allow them to stay and poke and almost like choke the life out of you. When they're there, that anger keeps festering. And I don't know if anybody's aware, but scientifically, holding on to anger can create cancer, diseases, disorder within your body because you're holding on to an energy that is, like I said in the beginning, very, very potent. If you can't release this energy in a positive manner, rather it be jam some hardcore music, jump around, punch some pillows, punch a punching bag, go run, take a walk, sit outside and sweat, whatever it is to start getting stuff out of your body, cry. If you can't do that, you're making yourself sick. And I just want you to know that it's okay when you want to punch something. Just don't punch somebody. Don't kick an animal. Don't go around and think of how you can harm somebody else or focus on why you hate them because they made you feel that way. If anything, thank them for giving you the power that you feel coursing through your body and do something creative and constructive with it. I have a lot of artwork that came through a lot of hurt, a lot of anger, a lot of pent up feelings. And there's things within you that if you will let them come out, you'll find that maybe you're the greatest singer, the greatest dancer, the greatest cook, whatever it is. Don't put hate into your meal as you're cooking it. Put love into it. And I know that's kind of like a double standard. It's kind of hard. But just because you're angry doesn't mean you've lost your love. Just understand that you're human. You have all of these emotions. And for whatever reason, from a societal standpoint, it's only allowed to be happy and duped. It is only allowed to be the idiot in this society. I don't understand it. It's almost like Beauty and the Beast, where Belle was shunned from everyone else because she liked to read a book. She liked to get intelligent. No woman should speak. No woman should have that kind of intellect. That's a fairy tale that we were shown as kids. That's actually a mindset and a mentality that was kind of allowed into our lives. And it sucks for us as women. Of course, time is changing. Outdated ways of thinking are kind of dissipating. So it gives us a better chance. But we're still in a moment in time to where we're still having to fight for any sort of equality. And by getting that equality, that means a little bit more aggressiveness coming from the other sex of our genders. Did I say that right? I don't know how I said it. Coming from the other side. It's almost like, oh, you want to be like us? No, I don't want to be like you. I want to be equal to you. I want you to understand you can't beat me to teach me a lesson as an adult just because you are of a different gender. Or that you can't tear me down and tell me that I'm not worth something. And understand, it happens in both sides. There's females that behave like this. But it's something about that dominating masculine energy when it's toxic and negative. It doesn't seem to do what it's supposed to when it's in divine order. With divine masculinity is where we begin to build and create, and you see progress. Especially when it is balanced within a feminine and a masculine energy that are working in a divine order. That's where you start to see better choices being made for the people. That's where you see people starting to speak out and fight against things that I don't want to keep attacking the government, but that's where you start seeing better decisions being made all across the board. that has to do with our food and our water, and regulations are actually put in place to protect us rather than to profit off of us. Because the sad thing is, the dumber you can keep the human race, the more you can profit off of them. They'll buy your stupid little toys and then pay doctors for the illnesses that come from sitting stagnant playing with the stupid little toys. That's insanity. And we live in a moment right now where everybody wants instant gratification. And that instant gratification is another thing that's creating dis-ease in our bodies because it doesn't make sense. We are individuals that are meant to explore and wander. And I've said this quite a few times, and I'm not going to let up on it because we have to understand the value of the life we could have by letting go of the life that we allow. How do we do that? By getting fucking angry, by doing the one thing and start to say things that people don't want to hear. You're not going to do it alone. I'm already here doing it. There's other freedom fighters. There's other light workers. There's other healers. There's other people that are here at this moment in time to sit here and start provoking people. Wake up, wake up, wake up, fight back. Stop laying down and letting them beat you up. And the only person that told me that to get me out of that toxic relationship was myself. You don't fucking deserve this. Nobody deserves this. And now it's starting to go on more of a worldly scale because I see the way that people treat people. And it's crazy the lessons I'm teaching children that I was taught that their parents are neglecting, knowing they know the same lesson I was taught. They're my age. These things were posted in the classroom. These things were taught from an older generation. Simple little things. If you have nothing nice to say, don't say anything at all. Do unto others how you want to have done unto you. Very simple. Some point, everything's lost in translation because nobody even speaks anymore. We're so busy on our cell phones, chit-chatting, trying to create an image for ourselves that has nothing to do with the reality of the world we live in. It's just dragging us further astray. So I'm going to just quit right here because I feel it still pulsing through my body, but I'm just going to stop. And hopefully, if you feel anger, you will learn to start doing something with it rather than feeling upset. Don't get lost in thought. Don't get lost in what made you angry. Instead, harness that feeling and do something with it, because you'll be amazed at what you will create if you can not let that feeling overcome you and make you go a little bit insane. So I'm going to leave it at that. Like I said, sending you peace, love, and light. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.